Right now, over 30 million people worldwide are drinking Starbucks coffee. One grande latte costs around $5. But let me tell you a secret. The actual coffee inside costs only 50 cents. You might think this is a scam, but it's not. Starbucks isn't actually selling coffee, and this is one of the most brilliant business models of the 20th century, because that extra $4.50 you're paying is for something completely different. In 1971, three friends opened a small coffee shop. The name was Starbucks. They only sold coffee beans and didn't even brew coffee. This continued for 11 years. Then, in 1982, a man entered the picture named Howard Schultz. He became Starbucks marketing director. One day, he traveled to Italy on a business trip, and there he noticed something interesting. Italians weren't just drinking coffee. They were socializing. Coffee bars were a third place between home and work. Schultz had a light bulb moment. When he returned, he pitched his bosses a radical idea. Stop selling coffee and start selling an experience. The bosses rejected the idea. Schultz quit and opened his own coffee chain. 2 years later, he bought Starbucks for $3.8 million. From that moment, everything changed completely. Schultz started an experiment. He redesigned every detail in the stores. He added comfortable armchairs. He provided free Wi-Fi. He installed fireplaces. He used soft lighting. He played jazz music. He even started writing names on cups. People stopped coming just for coffee. Students came with laptops to study. Freelancers held meetings there. Friends used it as a meetup spot. Parents escaped home for 2 hours. Starbucks wasn't a coffee shop anymore. It became a lifestyle. And this is where the magic happens. Let's break down a Starbucks Grand Latte cost. Coffee beans cost 30 cents. Milk costs 10 cents. Cup and lid costs 10 cents. Total cost is 50 cents. Selling price is $5. That's a 900% profit margin. But where does Starbucks spend this money? Rent payments are insanely high because they always choose premium locations. City centers, shopping malls, busy streets. Staff costs are triple other coffee chains because they train professional baristas. Store design and decoration are expensive. Wi-Fi, electricity, air conditioning run constantly. And there's something else. Brand. Value. The Starbucks logo is a status symbol. Someone holding a Starbucks cup signals I'm modern, urban, sophisticated. There are 93 million Starbucks cup photos on Instagram. Free advertising everywhere. Customers become brand ambassadors with their own money. And most importantly, they keep coming back. The average Starbucks customer visits 6 times per month. This means 72 visits per year. At $5 per visit, that's $360 annually. Multiply by 30 million regular customers, that's $10.8 billion. But here's the crazy part. Starbucks isn't making money from coffee. They're selling you a feeling. The feeling of being productive. The feeling of being successful. The feeling of belonging somewhere. Psychologists call this the third place theory. Every human needs 3 places: home for rest, work for productivity, and a third neutral space for social connection. Traditional coffee shops failed this test. They were too noisy, or too dirty, or too uncomfortable. Fast food restaurants were too rushed, libraries were too quiet, but Starbucks engineered the perfect environment. Not too loud, not too quiet, not too bright, not too dark, not too cheap, not too expensive. The Goldilocks zone of social spaces. And they weaponized every psychological trick. The smell of coffee triggers dopamine release. Green color creates calm feelings. Round tables encourage strangers to share space. Music tempo controls how long you stay. Even the cup sizes aren't random. Tall grande venti sound more special than small M. The customization. You can order 170,000 different drink combinations. Soy milk, almond milk, oat milk, extra shot, half shot, no shot, hot, iced, blended, vanilla, caramel, hazelnut. This makes every customer feel special. Your drink is unique to you. It's personal. And that's why people pay 10 times the actual cost. They're not paying for coffee beans and water. They're paying for the comfortable chair. They're paying for the free bathroom. They're paying for the Wi-Fi. They're paying for the air conditioning. They're paying to be seen. They're paying for the Instagram photo. They're paying for the emotional experience. Starbucks discovered something most businesses miss. People don't buy products. People buy feelings. They buy identity. They buy stories they tell themselves. When you walk into Starbucks, you're not just a customer. You're part of a global community. You're sophisticated, you're successful, you're worth $5. And the brilliant part, you convince yourself it's worth it, because the alternative is admitting you paid $5 for 50 cents of ingredients. Nobody wants to feel foolish, so you rationalize. The purchase, the ambiance was great, the Wi-Fi was fast, the chair was comfortable. I needed a workspace anyway. Starbucks now has 38,000 stores in 80 countries. They open a new store every 15 hours. Annual revenue exceeds $35 billion, all because they stopped selling coffee. They started selling something humans desperately want, a place to belong. So next time you order that grande latte, remember this: you're not paying for coffee. You're paying rent, for a chair, for Wi-Fi, for air conditioning, for 2 hours of peace. Honestly, maybe that's worth $5 after all. The question isn't whether Starbucks is expensive. The question is, what are you really buying? And once you understand that, you'll see the genius everywhere. Apple stores, IKEA showrooms, luxury car dealerships, they're all selling the same thing. Not products, experiences, feelings, identity. Welcome to the experience economy. We're the product. So is this model unique to Starbucks? No. Right now, this game is being played in every industry. Look at Netflix. Are they selling TV shows? No. They're selling the experience of escaping reality on your couch every weekend. Peloton sells bicycles? No. They're selling the feeling of having a fitness studio in your home. WeWork rents office space? No. They're selling startup culture and networking experiences. Even look at Disneyland, an amusement park? No. The experience of returning to childhood and family happiness. They're all playing from the same playbook, the Starbucks playbook. And here's the fascinating part. Their competitors didn't understand this. Dunkin' Donuts still tries to sell coffee. Costa Coffee still focuses on products. Tim Hortons still fights price wars. They're losing because they didn't understand the rules of the game. We're not selling products anymore. We're selling feelings. We're selling identity. We're selling the story we tell ourselves. But here's where it gets even more interesting. This strategy has a dark side, because once you understand you're being manipulated, it stops working, right? Wrong. Even when you know the trick, you still fall for it. Psychologists call this the transparency paradox. You can see the strings, but you still dance. Why? Because the need is real. You really do need that third place. You really do want to feel productive. You really do crave belonging. Starbucks didn't create fake needs. They identified real human psychology and built a business around it. That's not evil. That's genius. But it does raise a question. If everything is becoming an experience, what happens to actual value? When a 50-cent coffee sells for $5, where does it end? Some economists worry we're entering a bubble, the experience bubble, where we're paying more and more for less and less actual product. But others argue this is just evolution. Humans have always valued intangibles: status, belonging, identity. We just used to get them. So what should you do with this information? 3 things. First, understand what you're really buying. Next time you're about to spend money, ask yourself, am I paying for the product or the feeling? There's no wrong answer. Sometimes the feeling is worth it. Just be conscious of the choice. Second, recognize this pattern everywhere. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Luxury cars, designer clothes, premium streaming services, they're all selling you identity. And that's okay, as long as you're choosing it deliberately. Third, and most important, you can create this for yourself. You don't need Starbucks to have a third place. You don't need Apple to feel creative. You don't need Peloton to feel athletic. These companies identified real human needs, but you can fulfill those needs yourself. Find your own third place, create your own rituals, build your own identity. The lesson isn't stop buying experiences. The lesson is understand the game. And once you understand it, you have the power. You can choose to play, or you can choose to build your own. Either way, you're no longer being played. You're playing, and that makes all the difference.